You're watching Past the Wire TV.
Ciao tutti, and I hope that, excuse me, you all had a very, very, very merry, wonderful Christmas and a great New Year's coming up. So thanks for tuning in. You know, I apologize. We're getting the Malibu done late. We're lucky we're getting it done at all because just with the holiday and everything, just, you know, how things get away from you, gets very, very busy. But we're here. We're going to get it done. So those of you that could make time or have time or squeeze in time to watch, we got you covered. You ring, we bring. First off, everybody that reached out and wished me a Merry Christmas, thank you all so much. Everybody who's sent in messages over some of the nice horses we've hit lately, thank you so much. We started off today on tracking trips with a 22-1 wire-to-wire winner in the first race at Gulfstream. We like that. Got a bunch of messages that we passed the wire, tracking trips, yours truly, paid for a whole bunch of Christmas presents, and that's a beautiful thing. So thank you all. And a couple of you actually reached out and said, where you been? Video. I've been doing a lot of short videos, you know, those shorts, but come on, I'm here. We're, a couple days late, but thank you all for the concern. Love it. Much appreciated. That stuff does not go unnoticed with me. So we're going to run through this quick. I've cheated because I've looked at the past performances. We're going to do the Thorograph numbers and patterns. We're going to, transition right into the high level look at the past performances, and maybe we can come away with the winner of the Malibu, which is a very, very tough competitive race this year. I think Bob Baffert has 5 of the 10 horses in there, and I don't even think he would know which of the 5 that's going to win. He might know, but I don't know. I've seen him like the other Baffert as much as we sometimes like the other Baffert, and he and I have laughed about that on numerous occasions. It happens. But we're here now. We're going to roll. Let's see what we can do. We'll get right into this Malibu race. Hold on. We're multitasking over here, so bear with me. We're not multitasking because the phone's not cooperating, so undivided attention. All right, let's take a quick Amwager thank you along with all our other sponsors. We're not going to thank all of them with a commercial, but we're going to play our Amwager commercial. When we come back, I will be ready to roll. It's 29 seconds. We can handle it. Nobody does it better. It was less than 29 seconds that time. Okay, we'll get right into the Malibu. Modus Bestia on the rail for Richard Baltus. No starts at 2, at 3. 9 3/4, 18, 16 and a half, 16 and a half, lays up, goes from Churchill back out to California, Del Mar, end of July, 9 3/4, 4 and a half, 5. Got a lot faster in the last 2 races, but kind of trending the wrong way. 4 and a half back up to a 5. I don't see anything that jumps out at me that makes me think this horse is going to go forward, but he is very fast early speed-wise in the past performances. So probably going to be the leader from the rail. But, especially with Edwin Maldonado, who loves to go. But I think there's going to be a lot of horses close enough to him to get to him. Spinard, I guess. Dan McFarlane has this one with 1 start at 2 of 15. Not good enough. At 3, 22, and a quarter, 11 and 3/4, 13, 15 and 3/4, 12 3/4, 8.5, 6.5, trending the right way. But then Zia Park, who knows what we're doing at Zia Park, 8.5, 9.5, trending the wrong way at Zia Park, shipping into the Malibu. Big ask, tall order. Mattakit Road danced a lot of dances, looked good in a lot of races, made some serious moves, knocked on the door, never really put it all together. Is he going to do it on Sunday? 7.5, 7.5 at 2. Nice numbers. I like to repeat. At 3, still good. 7.5, 7, 5.5, 4.5, 3.5, 2. Lays off till Del Mar, end of November. Vet scratch last time. Comes back. He's got a really good pattern before that vet scratch. And he's a horse that I think in this race is going to be coming from off the pace, which may be okay. He's got a good pattern. Let's leave it at that for now, and we'll talk more about him in the past performances. But certainly got a good pattern, and I ignored a vet scratch because whatever it was is fixed or he ain't running in the Malibu. Speedy Wilson. I will confess this horse intrigued me on paper. I think sits a beautiful trip in here. Good enough? We'll see. 19.5, 12.5, 11, 10 and 3/4 at 2. Slowly climbing and getting faster, which you know I like. At 3, what do we got? 4.25, 8, 7.5, 3 3/4. Kind of developed a little bit of that Z pattern that we talk about a lot on these shows. And if that is developing off the 4 starts, he's trending downward for this race. If for some reason he's not and he can go forward off that 3.5, with the trip and everything else, I like it. But I just don't like betting a horse that looks like they're Z patterning to me and on a downward trend unless I know for sure there's a reason that that's going to reverse. I like Phil D'Amato. I respect him. I think he's very capable. But I don't like the Z pattern. I really wish this was an up race because I think this horse is going to be sitting a really good trip and he's lightly raced enough to the point where I can't say he's not good enough yet. But that Z pattern kind of sways me. Midland Money. 1 start at 2, 15.25. At 3, what do we got? 4.5 at Saratoga, 5 3/4 at Saratoga, 5, 4.5, 4, 5, 5, 4. I think this horse is coming to a forward race. I like his pattern. I like the layoff and the 5, 4, a little slow progression. I think the horse is going to go forward again. I think that makes him, a potential player because you got some really fast ones in here. So he's going to have to go at least 2-3 points forward just to get into contention. Berlin Wall. We got nothing at 2 for Steve Knapp. At 3, we got 15.5, 13, vet scratch at the beginning of March. Means nothing now. Lays off till October, 7, 7.25, 6. Good pattern, but looks like he's going to go forward, but I think has to go forward more than too many of the others in order to put him in contention. But on strictly a forward-moving pattern, he's got one. But I don't think fast enough to get the job done in a race like this. Smooth Cruising for Karen Headley, daughter of Bruce Headley, who was deadly with these kind of races and sprinters. What do we got here? We got a pretty steady horse. At 2, 8.5. At 3, 7.5, 7.5, 5.25, 6.5, 6, 5.25, 7. I think this is a pattern that's showing us, he's got enough starts to show this is my range. I'm fast, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5. I'm fast. I'm between 5 and a 7. My best races are a 5. Maybe I'll top that a little bit and go to a 4. Maybe I'll go back to my 7. Maybe I'll even slow a little 8. I'm steady, but I'm not fast enough to beat these horses. Cornucopian, in my opinion, the most interesting horse in the race. runs a 1.5 first time out, lights out number. Okay, no starts at 2. That was at 3 at Oaklawn Park. Running back in the Arkansas Derby, I actually thought he had a shot. I figured if he's running him off that race, stretching out in the Arkansas Derby, he's trying to get him in the Kentucky Derby, maybe he's the goods. Well, the wheels came off in the Arkansas Derby. He then comes back in that allowance race. The wheels come off there again. Now he's off a long layoff. So his pattern is 1.5, 7, 5.5. The 7 and 5.5 were races where the wheels fell off completely. Now he's got this long layoff and comes back, not in the non-winner of 1, which he's eligible for. And he could have found one somewhere for this horse. He shipped him to Oaklawn, could have shipped him to a number of places, could have shipped him back to Oaklawn, a track that he won at first time out. No, he runs him into Malibu, grade 1 at 7/8. I got to think he's the way that he was supposed to be. Dangerous. I mean, if he runs back to the 1 or goes forward off that 1, now he's an older horse. He's almost 4. Forget about it. You know, he could follow that speed horse on the rail, take it over from him and say, here I am. I'm legit now. I wasn't then, but now I am. Barnes, another one, highly regarded. Everybody thought a lot of him. Looked like might be a Derby horse when he ran that race at Churchill Downs and won despite himself at 2 years old when he got his 7.5. Came back 3, 1.5, then at 10.5. He really, had the wheels come off again. Comes back, Saratoga, 1.5. Trouble trip that day. Parks, 3, don't know what happened. Far back, didn't show his speed, and then finally puts it all together with a 1.5 last time out at Keeneland and runs the race of his life. Now fresh going into the Malibu, dangerous. Looks like he's one, can easily go forward. So the fastest 2 horses are Cornucopian and Barnes, and both look like they can go forward in a big way. Goal-oriented. Goal-oriented is another fast one, but his pattern is not as strong as the others. No starts at 2, at 3. We got 4, 4, 4.5. Perfect illustration of what I talk about. Those steady numbers, especially on a lightly raced horse. 4, 4, 4.5. What do I say happens a lot with a good horse, lightly raced, especially a young one? Bang, he goes to a 1. Bang, he repeats the 1 at Parks. But then those 2 fast races take their toll, regresses, bounces, whatever you want to call it, runs a 7.5 last time out. Now, can he bounce back? Yeah. Can he get back to that 1 or 2 1s, the one he ran at Monmouth and Parks? I don't think so. I think a 7 to a 1 is a big ask. I think he runs a better race. I think he's got a bounce back type of pattern, but bounce back to that 1, that's going to take some doing, in my opinion. So, goal-oriented on the Thorograph numbers and patterns strictly is a nay. Bonds is a yay. Cornucopian is a yay. Smooth Cruising is a nay. Berlin Wall is a nay. Midland Money is a probably a nay, but not hopeless. Speedy Wilson, interesting, but the Z pattern is kind of making him a little bit iffy. Madigat Road, I'm going to say is a yay on the pattern. Spinard is a no, and Modus Bestia is a no. Now let's see if we could use a high-level look at the past performances to help us make some sense of these numbers and patterns, and I think that maybe we can. Modus Bestia, to me, looks like a very fast, early speed kind of horse. Really seemed to like Del Mar better than any other track that he has been at. And maybe Del Mar was the reason for those monstrous last 2 races. I think he can probably clear from the rail, but I don't think he can hold these horses off. And I don't think some of them are going to be that far off him where he gets, a major type of pace advantage. I see him in the lead by a length and a half, maybe even 2. If Maldonado is sending the race is only 3/8 or half a mile, but holding these horses off going 7, I don't see it happening. Spenard looks in deep over his head coming in from Zia Park. If he wins, it's a major upset shocker in my opinion. Now let's take a good hard look at Matticat Road, who's won at Santa Anita, who's danced in his share of grade ones, three of them, different tracks, sprints, routes. Hasn't really found his home yet. Kind of hard to say what this horse prefers doing. He's 0 for 3 with 2 seconds at this distance. He hasn't been out since Saratoga, where he ran into two 3-year-old grade ones, the Woody Stevens and the Alan Jerkins. Patch Adams kind of handled them both times. Barnes handled them one time and didn't even have the best trip. I'm going to say he's a pass and maybe even takes a little bit extra money with IRAD. So when I combine the Thorograph, where he can win on Thorographs, but when I combine him with the past performances, I'm going to say no. So 1, 2, 3, all no's for me. Speedy Wilson, intriguing with that Z pattern working against him. Calibred, 4 for 8, 1 for 1 at Santa Anita, 3 for 3 at 7 furlongs. He's got a lot going for him. He's 15 to 1, going to be every bit of that when they go in the gate. Call me crazy, call me nuts. I never said I wasn't any of those things. I think this horse has a puncher's chance despite that Z pattern. Maybe it's light enough with those 4 races, and he's lightly raced enough with only 8 starts, 4 for 8 lifetime, where we can make a little excuse or say, maybe he's still learning and figuring it out. Maybe there was a reason for those, that Z trend, and maybe he's just getting good and going to go forward off that. What was it, 3.5? I think, if memory serves. I'm going to say he's a contender, Speedy Wilson, at a big price, punches chance for a major upset, because he'll be every bit of that 15 to 1, maybe 20 to 1. In this race, forget about it. He's going to be a big price. Midland money, 7 to 2. Juan Hernandez, Bob's California guy, in the saddle. Blinkers on. Had a lot of early speed earlier in his career. Now seems to have learned how to come off the pace. Coming out of 2 allowance races, moving back up into a grade 1. Couldn't get it done in those 2 allowance races. I like the pattern. I think he's going forward. He's dangerous. He's a contender. But I'm not going to land on him. Berlin Wall. He wins. I don't. Simple as that. Don't see it. Smooth Cruising. Another one. Don't see it. Cornucopian. Blinkers off. He had him on for the first 3 starts. Hasn't run since that race in April. I say he's got 2 112 patented Bob Baffert workouts. I love when he works these horses 112. I love when it's off a layoff. I love when it's 2, not 1. And his work before that was no slouch either. Was a 59. I think this horse probably grew up, and we may see what all that buzz and hype was about back when he tried to rush this horse into the Derby, which tells you everything you need to know right there. When he goes from the maiden into the Arkansas Derby, you know what that man is thinking. I think this horse probably grew up, whatever caused those wheels to come off, whether it was rushing him up into those spots, whether he just had a lot to learn, whatever the case may be, the workouts and the blinkers off tell me dangerous. 32% with blinkers off, dangerous. Probably my top choice, because I think he's going to sit off the 1, get the lead, and they're going to have to come and get him. And if he's as good as he was supposed to be and has a length or 2 lead, just taking it, turning for home with Pratt heading out west to ride, I think he might prove tough to nail. And if he does get nailed, I think the next horse, Bonds, might be the most likely one to do it, because Bonds has a lot of class, is finally coming into his own. Last time out, when things went right, he won big by 8, 9 lengths. What is it? Open lengths going away at Keeneland into Perryville. Captain Cook and Owen Almighty ain't as fast as these, granted, but he ran fast. He's getting better. His racing the Gallant Bob and his racing the Allen Jergens, I didn't like either trip. Bonds is dangerous. Bonds is very dangerous. I don't like him as much as I like Cornucopian, but I think he's dangerous. Goal-oriented, like I said, he's got those 2-1s. Can he get back to them? I don't know. He's going to have to prove it to me. I'm going to lean to Cornucopian in this spot because I think he's going to sit the right trip. And I think if he runs back to his best race, which I have a feeling he will, and the numbers and patterns tell me he might, that 1 or going past that 1, forget about it. I mean, he goes past the 1. I think we can all agree they're probably running for second. And maybe, it's 7-2 on the morning line. If a horse like Speedy Wilson gets in there, and I'll just share something quick. Like one of the ways I like to bet is, okay, let's say I'm going to land on Cornucopian. I'll bet Cornucopian to win. Maybe I'll single him into pick 5, pick 6, or something like that. Bet him to win for sure. And then take a superfecta. Cornucopian, Speedy Wilson, all. Cornucopian, all. Speedy Wilson, all. Cornucopian, all, Speedy Wilson. So if my horse wins at 3-1, 7-2, 4-1, bang, hit the win bet, alive in the multi-race wager, beautiful thing, and maybe catch a nice super if that 20-1 shot gets in one of those other slots. Only a 10-horse field, so it ain't gonna be a life-changing hit, but it could definitely be a nice superfecta. And there are not going to be a lot of people thinking Speedy Wilson has a chance to hit the board in this race, let alone win it. So that's kind of how I see it. And if we do get a Cornucopian, Speedy Wilson type of race, then the last thing you will see when I get in my car leaving the racetrack is this. Oh, yeah.
Here comes journalism, here comes sovereignty, and they square off, head into the final front. Sovereignty wins the Derby!
You're watching Past the Wire TV. Hit that like button and subscribe to Past the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.